Hi, this is Peter Darts Clairvoyant here, and I'm doing your astrology reading here now for Gemini, December 2019. So Gemini, December 2019. So straight away, Gemini, now I just feel as though you've got to start sort of planning for the future now, a little bit about where you're going. But it's quite interesting now because it's tying in with the new decade coming in. And it's like it just feels that the next 10 years, I know we are coming into a new cycle, but it's really quite prominent. And I just feel as though you've got to really plan now where you are heading for the next 10 years. And I just feel as though it's going to be so important now to get things right. But I feel like sometimes I'm sort of not focused. It's like I'm here, there and everywhere. And I've got sort of really start bedding things in. But it doesn't mean you can't sort of be different places or be different people or different personalities. But it does mean one certain area of your life you've got to focus on, and you've got to decide now whether that's going to be love life or whether it's going to be career. And it's like it's got to make that your priority, but you can't become like sort of juggling where you're flitting from one to the other, because I feel as if you do it like that, then you can miss out on certain opportunities. And I feel like some of these opportunities, once you've messed them up, you will not be able to go back to them. So this is where I feel so you've got to be very careful now about what you're doing, how you're doing it, and how you're going about things. So I'm not saying you can't do all these different things that you may want to do in your life, different areas. But what I am saying is one has got to take priority over the other. And sometimes you're going to have to learn to say no to the other. It doesn't mean you don't want to be there or you don't want to connect with that situation or that person, but it's like that person or that situation or whatever it may be has got to have some kind of understanding that you have got a priority in your life, and that's got to come to the forefront. So I'm not going to emphasize so much what it is because it's going to be different for all of you. But I just feel so as time goes by, you'll kind of understand what I'm trying to say. And it's going to be so important now that you get that balance right. In fact, that is going to be the priority word for you, Gemini, is balance. It's like it feels so you can't sway one for the other. And also, sometimes you've got to be careful that you don't take advantage of certain people, because I just get the feeling sometimes you're wanting certain things, you're looking for certain things, and you could be taking advantage. And sometimes you might not know that you're doing it. But I get the feeling as the new year kicks in, certain people will let you know that that is what you're doing. And you might not like to hear it, but sometimes you just got to listen. And if you listen and sort of put things right with that person that you may be taking advantage of, you can have a fruitful relationship there. And when I say fruitful relationship, I mean any kind of relationship, not just lovers. It could be partner, it could be a work relationship, it can be any kind of relationship. But once the air's cleared, you'll be able to sort things out quite amicably and make things really work to both your advantages. Okay, now, when it comes to relationships now, I just get the feeling, again, it's like I feel so this priority, I feel priority and balance is sort of an interesting thing. And I just get this feeling now, as if to say you've got to really think about what it is you want and how you're spending your time. So I feel as though those of you in a relationship now, there's got to be a bit of balance, a bit of give and take, and I feel as though in mutual conversations of where the future is going. And I do get the feeling some of you can start planning a marriage. Excuse me. When I say a marriage, it doesn't mean this marriage is happening sort of like next year or the year after. It could be like a long-term engagement, but I just get the feeling marriage is going to come into your thoughts. And I feel as though any of you Geminis that are single, I just feel as though, again, look at certain aspects of your life where I feel as though you need to prioritize. And if you've got prioritized on something else and not worry so much about relationships, then look at it like that. But it doesn't mean you're going to be on your own. It just means you're not like pushing it. You're not like fighting for it. You're just letting it come in its own kind of natural way. And then I feel like as you do that, you'll find your life will balance out quite nicely. And for those of you who've got children, I just get the feeling you're trying to organise children better to make life a little bit easier for you. And I feel like you will get that right, but do also think about their needs, about what they are wanting. Sometimes we're all wanting what we want them to do and focus on what we've got to do because we are the priority, so to speak, being the adults. But sometimes children have got their priorities as well. So we have to think about their needs a little bit as well. When it comes to family, I just feel so just watch out for somebody who's not feeling very well. And I feel like sort of in the older generation. And I just get the feeling perhaps suffering with their legs or the feet or something along that kind of part of the body. And I just feel like now they need to take it a little bit more easy. I have to excuse my ticklish cough. So they need to take it a little bit more easier. And you may try and tell them to do this, but they may not listen because, again, they've got their priorities, their needs. And you've just got to sort of, well, you know, if that's what you're going to do, that's what you're going to do. But all you can do is just say your bit, try and get them back on track as best as you can. But that's all you can do. But I just feel so try and stay out of family squabbles within family. It's like I feel so you don't need it. I feel so you don't want to antagonise any kind of family problems because at the end of the day, there's going to be a lot going on now over the next few months. So I'm not just talking about December, which is the silly season, but, you know, generally moving forward. So you need to try and keep the peace and think about everybody's needs, even though you've got a lot of priorities that you've got to focus on. Okay, work now. This is where things really get interesting. So I just feel so work now. It's not so much what's happening this month because this is a funny season. You know, it can either be a busy period for you or it can be a quiet period. But either way, it doesn't matter. But I do feel like you need to take time out now to think a long-term plan about what you want, what you're looking for, and how you're going to go about it. And then I feel like as you do that, you can then gradually work to those goals and things will unfold quite nicely. But I just get the feeling the whole next 6 to 12 months is a bit of a planning kind of year. And I just feel as though, and gradually you'll start to implement things and make changes. But I do feel like some of these changes are going to affect family a little bit, which I feel as though is okay. But again, you've got to think about their needs, not just your own needs. So however you're connecting with family and work and trying to balance things out, it's like I feel so you've got to think about everybody's needs. But I just feel so as long as you do that, then you'll be fine because they will work to you as well. But I feel like if you try and take control or take over things a little bit, then I feel so it's not going to go very good. So just watch that a little bit. Money is a bit of a funny thing for December for you. It's kind of neither well, get my words out right here, neither good nor bad. It's like it's okay, it's just plodding along, which to me for December, it doesn't sound too negative. But I feel like long term, money is going to be picking up around you. But again, it's where you're putting your prioritising. So are you focusing on your work and career? And then if you do, money will definitely build up. If you're just focusing on other things, then it might just plod along a little bit. But either way, I'm okay with money with you. But December, like I say, not exactly a great month, but don't worry about it. It's just 1 month out of the year. In fact, January might be a little bit of a stagnant period, but after that, things should start taking shift again. So I just feel as though don't worry about money too much. Money always fluctuates for all of us, and that's the way you've got to look at it. Okay, when it comes to health, I just feel so keep an eye on your eyes and keep an eye on your skin. And I feel so anything natural to sort of help you in that kind of side of your body, I just feel so was really good. But I do get the feeling with eyes, I don't think it's anything wrong with your eyes. I'm being drawn to tiredness, feeling tired, can't keep my eyes open, feeling a bit drained. You need a rest, you need a bit of a break, and you need to unwind. So I feel so try and get that kind of period in your life in. And I just feel as though going to do with that, to do with health and tiredness, I feel so that's something you need to think about long term, not just for December. I feel so you will not have the energy to do things if you go overkill. So I feel so you've got to get the balance right now with looking after your health. You look after you, your body will look after the things that you've got to do. But if you don't, and it's the opposite, you're going to fall short of your expectations. So again, balance with your goals, balance with your health, and you'll be fine. But sometimes we've got to push ourselves, and I don't knock that, but again, it's got to be in balance. So overall, Gemini, I feel as though it's going to be an okay month, but I'm not really bothered about December for you. It's more the future, the next sort of 6 months of figuring out what you're doing, where you're going, and implementing that plan. It's like having a game plan, but then that game plan is going to spread out for the next decade. And I just feel as though it's going to be very, very interesting for some of you. Might not quite resonate with all of you, but a lot of you are going to be focusing on these long-term goals. So I feel as though just wait and see how all that kind of fits in. So I hope all that's made sense to you. Let's look forward to the January one, the start of a new decade, a new cycle, which is going to be really quite exciting what comes out of that. And if you do want any private readings, you know where I am to connect with me. I'm always available, whether you're here in the UK or overseas. There's always a way of making things happen. And perhaps think about having a video recorded reading like this, what you're watching, but it's more personalized to you. Okay. So I wish you well, have a great Christmas, and let's wish us all for a great new year coming. So thank you very much for listening.